Hey everybody, this is Dan Collins of the CUNY Kingsborough Math and Computing Department, and today I have kind of a short video about a little fine detail in using the Blackboard Collaborate Whiteboard drawing system that is something that might surprise you if you don't know about it. I know it surprised myself the very first day that I was doing distance teaching using Collaborate, and I think it's caught a couple of our colleagues and kind of surprised them. And so what I have right here is I'm in the Blackboard Collaborate system as the instructor. Now I actually have connected, I have a sample student here, so it's showing me who else is in the room with you. There's this other student, but we'll get to them later. So you're actually seeing me as the instructor. So I'm going to pull up the blank whiteboard here, and I'm going to start drawing on this. And for what I'm showing you here, whatever you're drawing with that pencil tool up there, could be doing this with the mouse on your system, could be using this with a drawing tablet like I have my XP pen. Here's what I have. That makes no difference at all how you're getting this on the screen here. Okay, so I'm going to make the first letter of my signature usually. Okay, so there's kind of a D there. Now, I still have the pen down. Okay, I've made this stroke, but I haven't picked the pen up or lifted my mouse button, doesn't matter which. I haven't picked the pen up for my tablet yet. And if you look at what I drew there, you can see there's quite a few little angles, right? It's very angular. It's actually a bunch of straight line segments with sharp angles is what's been captured from the mouse or drawing device. And look, I want you to look really carefully as I pick the pen up from the tablet, that figure that I just drew is going to change. You see that? It got a whole lot more curvy than it was before. So I believe that what's happening from my knowledge of computer graphics is that whatever drawing device you have is picking up some individual discrete control points, and then when it thinks that you're done with it, it's filling in maybe like a Bezier curve based on those control points, basically, right? So there's this moment between when you make the stroke and when you lift up your mouse button or your pen off the drawing surface, where it clearly encodes and changes the stroke that you drew to something very different. I'm going to try that again. So my middle initial here is R. So I'm going to do an R. And again, kind of angular there, right? A lot of sharp points. And when I lift up the pen, so here's where I'm lifting up the pen, changes quite a bit, and now it's actually a smooth curve. Do that with my last letter here, C. Right? And so the C, you can see all these little linear line segments right now with my pen still down, and when I lift it up, that's going to turn into a much nicer smooth curve. Right? Probably doing a Bezier curve mathematics behind that. Okay? So clearly when you're making strokes on the Collaborate whiteboard, there's this moment where it encodes and changes what you drew from control points to what appears to be a smooth curve, although I'm going to guess that behind the scenes it's still actually recording those control points like to save memory. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to look at this sample student. I'll clear out the whiteboard here. So on the left, you've got the instructor view, me as the instructor, and down at the bottom it's saying, hey, who else is in the room with you? Well, there's also this student 1. Now over on the right is the browser window for my sample dummy student 1, who I'm also pretending to be here. And you can see down the right, it's like, who else is with you in the room, student 1? Well, there's this Mr. Daniel R. Collins there. So I'm going to keep working over here on the left, and we're going to see what shows up for the viewer, right? The participant student 1 over on the right. I'm actually drawing on the left. Don't want to see that there. Okay, so over here on the left, here's the instructor, and I'll do the same thing. Here is my first initial. Now my pen is still down, and the main thing that you notice here is that nothing has showed up for the student on the right. There's nothing over there whatsoever, right? The whiteboard for the instructor is waiting for me to pick up the pen, and it doesn't send any of that stroke over to your participants until you pick up the pen, right? It's going to do the encoding, and then also send that to the students. So here I am picking up the pen now, right? And so you saw that show up over there for the student finally. Once they had all that control points and it knew you were done with the stroke, then it encodes it, then it sends it out to all the participants. Let me do that again with my R. So my R I actually draw in 2 strokes, right? There's the back straight line to it. Okay, so obviously that shows up immediately if I pick up the pen. And now I'll try to make the kind of curvy part of my R. Right? Pen is still down. right? Very angular little sharp shape there. Hasn't been sent to the participant yet. I pick up the pen or lift up my mouse button, right? Then it gets sent. Then it gets encoded, turns into a curve, and then it gets sent. Same with my C. My pen is down, still down, right? Lifting it up, then it gets sent. So again, so it's kind of important to realize that like maybe if you keep your pen down or you keep your mouse down, your participants will not be seeing what you've drawn yet. Same thing for these other tools. It could be the mouse again, could be the XP Pen tablet. Doesn't make any difference about that. It's just how symbols get encoded to save space and then sent out to the participants to save network bandwidth. Let me try that with a text tool. So I think the first or second day I was doing distance teaching here, I was doing some mostly text proofs. And since my handwriting's not the best, I thought, well, I'm going to get clever here, and I'm going to actually use the text tool to write my mostly natural language English proofs. So to make it much shorter than what I was actually doing, maybe I'm going to say prove the FOIL method. Okay, now you see here that again, as I'm typing on the left screen, nothing's showing up on the right screen yet. Nothing's going to show up for the participants until I hit the Enter key to complete that object on the screen. So here I go, hitting my Enter key, right? And then it actually shows up on the participant screen over there. Also, I'll zoom this up so it's a little bit easier to read. So zooming it up here, right, modifying the object. It's not going to spend the network resources until it knows that I'm done with this resizing operation. So my mouse button is currently down. I'm not using the XP Pen or anything, just using the mouse for this. Lift up the mouse button right now, right, then it sends it over to the participant. Going to move this around, right? Doesn't show up at all for the participants. They don't see what I'm doing right now. Once I'm happy with where it is and lift up the mouse button, then it gets sent and they see the move. So the mistake that I made the first day was that I didn't realize that. And so I started writing some algebra using the text tool. Like I said, okay, let's take sample binomials, because obviously the FOIL method, I mean that we're multiplying binomials here. Sample binomials, A plus B times C plus D, and I will distribute the second binomial actually through the first parentheses. So I'll have A times C plus D here, plus B, I would like a space right there, times B, sorry, plus B times C plus D, right? And then I was saying to my students, what comes next, right? I've done half of the distribution here. Let's finish the distribution, get rid of the parentheses. What should I write after this equals sign? And they had no idea what I was talking about. They, over there on the right, they don't see the A or the B or the C or the parentheses or any part of that. And so I was getting a little frustrated just hearing total radio silence in my class, wondering why nobody could complete this. But then all the students were wondering, what the heck are you talking about? I don't know what you think I'm seeing here at this point, because I haven't hit the equal key here. So I haven't hit the Enter key, I should say. So be aware of that, right? If you're making a stroke by hand or you're typing text, none of your participants see that until you get done with it by either lifting up your pen or hitting the Enter key like I'll do right now. So obviously the correct solution to what I was doing is at each equal sign, hit the Enter key to get done with that part of the expression, and then start a new expression right after it, maybe as the students tell me what to fill in. And obviously I would have AC plus AD plus BC plus BD, which is actually, plus BD, which is actually the front, outside, inside, and last terms being combined there. And I could hit enter, and then it shows up over there. So kind of be aware of that, right? Like I've had one colleague say, you know, I'm making these smooth strokes in class, but when I see the recording, they all of a sudden pop into existence, like I'm doing a PowerPoint frame by frame slide. Is there some problem with the recording mechanism? Well, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the recording mechanism at all. It's just that they're not showing anybody, they're not sending any of the objects you draw or type into the Blackboard system until you're totally done with it, and then it sends the whole object as one single unit to save memory and to save network resources over the wire there. So hopefully that's clear what's happening there when you do make an object in the Blackboard Collaborate Whiteboard, how the whole object has to get done before it actually sends it to any of your participants. and you won't stumble into this kind of awkward, frustrating situation that I found myself on the second day of class. So hope that helps. If there's any other questions about how you're using Blackboard Collaborate these days, feel free to email me on the Kingsborough email system, and I'll talk to you later.